Hello, this is John Schwander, also known as the All Grain Gamer,
Hi, I'm D Will.
Hi, I'm Phil.
and we're here with another KZAV update. Now, first and foremost, we got 4 documents up. D Will just got the story up. The 3 I put up were 2 game design documents and a 1 sheet, which is basically just an overview. So we're going to get through those today. The 1 sheet I'm not too worried about. The 2 big things is the design process that I wrote up, which is just an outline of what everything will need to be covered. And need to know if I've missed anything that needs to be thrown on there. And then the jungle temple design documents, which is just how you think it is as it stands. Is it the formatting good? It's worked for you, and then what's it need changed?
I think it's pretty good. The one-handed controller, playing it one-handed, could you like clarify on there? Is it just like key bindings or something, or what?
Well, I'd like the control setup. It is about the key bindings, but to have the option, like multiple keys to do the same option, so that a player can play one-handed or switch to playing both hands on the fly. So like they can use WASD and numpad, or just the numpad, depending how they want to play.
I've never seen anybody play one-handed before.
Bit Trip Runner actually does this quite well. I found that out after I thought about it. I was like, it's really nice to play one-handed because then I could just relax and be eased back rather than having to be at attention all the time with 2 hands. And then I played Bit Trip Runner. I was like, there you go. They pulled it off.
That might be one of the only games I can play while blinking.
But yeah, just having full key bindings works.
Now that was on the control section, and you want that clarified?
Yeah.
Yeah, just make a point where you have complete key bindings, but just have it set up on default to do both one-handed and two-handed.
Alright, anything else?
Not really on there. Like, I read through it, I don't know, 5 times during my physics class, so...
There is a few things I didn't put on that I'll get to later. So look at the design process, 13 June 2012, and see if there's anything that needs to be addressed that isn't addressed in that. And you gotta think of everything that will be part of this game.
Oh gosh.
Like side missions, the story, AI, the level design.
Wait, where are the side missions?
They are currently in the story section. The last part is missions, main story inside.
Side missions. Could you have platformer side missions and RTS side missions? And you can choose whatever one you want to do.
Go into more detail about that.
Like attacking other people's like territories with the militia to gain resources could be a side mission. And
So you're thinking separate side missions?
yes.
Okay. That can be a consideration, yeah. need to think how to implement the side missions, but yeah, do RTS as well. Which does bring me to the point that RTS.
Is it really an RTS?
Are we keeping it RTS or are we turning it turn-based?
I think RTS would be a bit too hard. Because, at least with regular RTSs, they're expecting a lot of stuff to be put in, and I don't think we can do that.
Now, tell me, what do you two envision when you think of the combat for the RTS section?
I was thinking more of a tower defense kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to move your units around into proper locations to defend.
Wait,
That could work.
Not so much frontline battles, but just picking the right positions and having proper unit counts.
You can do both of that.
so like,
Let's see.
wouldn't that be sort of like Fire Emblem style?
I don't know.
Well, yes, what I say.
Let's see.
Do love me some Fire Emblem.
But more of a, it doesn't require you to put or micro individual units or move out at the right time.
What I'm thinking from the idea you just said is like the battle could have two stages. The
Like
don't know how
supply
to call-
stage and like attack
well, no, it's more
phase?
of the movement stage where the army is coming to attack and like they're marching in like a 3 deep file, and you have soldiers on the high ground who are taking pot shots. And the better you do on that, the easier the next part of the battle will be, which will be like Fire Emblem.
Oh, let's see.
It might be too much for trying to not emphasize the combat too much and stay with the platformer as our main
Right,
core.
that's what I was thinking. It's
Yeah, but it is an interesting idea.
because that's something you can't like put down whenever you want. You're kind of stuck playing until it's over.
Yeah,
Because I was thinking more of just if the army's coming in, you can move your units around and then go right back to the platforming. And then that just you don't need to worry about it. About micro.
That's true. Actually, my original thought for all of this was that I don't know what game it was. It was some mafia game where the units that you had, they weren't special. You just had like a certain number of units at each place, and you had to make sure that you had more than the other than the attackers. So you lose some people in the battle, but you would still cover the base itself. And you could do that while just like pause. You can adjust that then. And also, I doubt we could do anything like this, but in their game, you could actually go to the place that's being attacked and defend it yourself.
yeah, that sounds like Godfather 2.
Yeah, that's the one. But we don't want it exactly be like that.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of simply numbers because that's that kind of takes the player out of it, but that could be good if we want to focus on the platforming solely.
I kind of like having it so you as the player can go be part of the action.
Yeah, I'd like to have some interaction with the player in the
Where the player
combat section.
Can go kill bad guys
Well, you want the player
as well.
to use their regular character and go in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was thinking more of
I mean,
the player take the role of one of the lieutenants or something and command the battle while the main character is waiting for the player to come back, and then they'll go to the temple or whatever.
because we could have it where the
Because we don't want them running back and forth.
Right, the player can be in control like as the lieutenant style when they're not there. But then when they're there, they can be a part of it.
Now, how would the player rationalize their character being there and also being wherever they were on the map? Like, do they have to run there to take part of it, and it'll just auto fight until they get there?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's real time.
Okay, I can kind of see this. Let's see. Now we would have to focus on how quickly it will progress while the character is on the way. Now, that's something we can tweak out.
Because at least my thought right now was the player would only be there if it was a really high value area and they were afraid of it being attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really necessary for them to be there. It's just an additional thing or pretty much another unit to have.
Yeah, except it's a special unit that kicks ass.
Yep. So you can spend less strategizing and more just slashing away.
How I'm seeing that version is that the militia act as like turrets and the level remains platformer, and the attacking army is just enemies that are being taken out by the turrets and shooting at the turrets while the turrets can be in the militia, and then the player will show up in the back and start beating up on the enemy if they show up. And they'll fight to that militia line.
Mm-hmm. But were you thinking of this as the platformer view or the overworld view?
The combat I was viewing in battle being, well, originally I was planning grid style, but this version is platformer.
Because I was still thinking of having this as overview.
Overview or overworld?
Overworld, yeah.
How would Overworld work?
But that would be
So it's more RTS style.
I can kind of see that with but that would turn it more to pseudo RTS, where like the player would move onto a unit and auto attack it, and then the units would move.
Yes. I'm not understanding.
Well, if it's overworld, like the overworld's going to be grid based. That's how movement will be dealt with, and the overlay, the cities will be a tile, and the battle would then be the units on the map taking up certain tiles.
Well, we don't need to do tiles.
Well, we don't need to use tiles specifically, but just thinking about it, it's
tiles are.
They're going to take up a space on the map that no other unit can occupy while they're in it.
Right.
Yeah. And that to have the battle on the overworld, they're going to have to be present on the overworld, taking up space, and you can't have a shift into another map if you're going to attack from the overworld.
Into another map?
Yeah, I was thinking of the battles being another map, like being the city map, and taking place there. But if it takes place on the overworld, then when the player engages the enemy, how would they respond?
Yeah, I'm not following you right now.
A snake whip?
If I had something I could draw on or just
Because I was thinking traditional RTS style view,
mm-hmm.
where you're this overseeing god kind of thing that
Yeah.
could control every unit.
Now, how do you see battle taking place?
Is this real time?
Yeah, real time.
No time.
How do you see units attacking each other?
Whatever mechanism we give to them, just so if they all use swords, then they run up to each other and hit each other.
So the player has their snake whip, and they're wailing on an enemy from in the overworld from a few tiles away, or just maybe just 5 pixels, whatever. No, not doesn't
Yeah.
need to be tiles.
Exactly.
So then the AI has to respond to not only the militia but now the player.
Right.
And how do you see that happening?
Whatever we tell it to make it happen.
Well, that's what we're deciding right now. Or at least trying to, so that we can have an idea what to get with our design process.
Well, because what you're just talking about is how do we code the AI?
All I'm saying is that the player in the platform section is going to be able to one-hit things. Well, most of the lower things. The things like the Hime will take a lot of hits.
Okay.
But then when they go into the overworld and they have the RTS battle, they're going to be fighting common soldiers, but then all of a sudden they can't really die in one hit because it would be very hard to balance and require large numbers of enemies to be challenging to the player.
Could there be two types of enemies? Like regular soldiers and then the Heme people?
There could, but like
Or we could just do armor levels on the soldiers, so they're not really different. They just take more hits, some of them.
but that kind of breaks the flow of the game in that the units they were able to kill in one hit now take 3 in this instance. We could still have
Okay, I see what you
the
mean.
soldiers die in one hit, and then there will be like a ranked up soldier, like a lieutenant or a general, that would take a few hits.
Right, that's what I was saying. Give them different armor or something.
So we could do something like that. So I'm gonna write down overworld TS battle, and I'll think on that when I'm going over everything. I'll keep that in mind and see what I can work with that, and I'll get back to you. Now we return to this every time, and we're going to return to it again. The character swapping.
Yep.
I'm still
Character
not
swapping.
sure how we're pulling that off.
I don't think we were having
Yeah.
character swapping, I thought.
Is it they change their abilities for X amount of time? Is it the cost? Is it something we want to allow at will?
You should be able to change your abilities at like go to a menu and then just like say which things you want, but you wouldn't change your character at all.
Yeah, it's a mutation.
Yeah.
But what's the cost?
Just
Is it?
you can only have one at a time. Because I don't think they need to be anything super good. Where you do need to put a cost on them.
No, you
Mhm.
don't. You shouldn't.
Because it'd be easy to do it.
But each
Almost.
one will change the play style, theoretically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we should plan for them to switch play styles and possibly run the entire game with X play style, if they so choose.
Could we have like 2 buttons that like cycles through the abilities really quickly instead of like a menu?
Right.
We can have shortcuts, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
Hot
not much of
bar
a
or
concern
something.
right now.
Because I don't. I saw it as more of kind of an item you used. not so much as a new person
Yeah.
or a
Well,
new
yeah.
character, but
Well, that's going into like the aesthetics and all that of that. I'm worried about the mechanics of.
right. That's what I was meaning. It feels like an item. So you're just switching out from a gun to a knife or something.
Okay.
That's how it should feel, and that it's easy to swap between them. Because I don't think they should be like super powerful abilities like a lightning bolt that kills 100 soldiers.
Nope.
Just kind of like a bow and arrow or super speed
Or double jump.
or double jump. Yeah, something light and that you can kind of have to use in combination with each other to do a task.
So they would be quick swappable.
Yes.
Then maybe instead of actually using mutations or transformations, just unlock skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
what I was thinking.
what it treat them as. But I think they should be the character mutation. So it's not like it's because I think we were going on that idea of you get the
Someone's got a lot of feedback coming in.
Sounds like an air conditioner just went on.
Yep, that's me.
Oh,
Fun.
you'll have to talk a bit louder then.
Okay. Well, what was I saying?
You're talking about the abilities.
Oh, because
Not being
the abilities were going to be reflective of the civilization's culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we need the aesthetic character swap, quote unquote. So it's really just the ability of the place, but have it take the form of changing into a different person. Kind of like Legend of Zelda, the Majora's Mask,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing.
Well, that's like full-on transformation.
We don't have to make it so it's full on transformation though.
Right, but it's something that kind of feel. That's what I was thinking.
So it feels like a full on transformation, but you really just the same dude with different skills.
Right. Easy to swap.
Well, I'm thinking of how quickly they'll be able to swap back and forth. Excuse me. And like transforming will have to not be able to make you invulnerable, because then you could just quick swap back and forth and you'll be fine. You'll be invincible practically. But
I was thinking it's an instant change. No downtime.
Yeah.
What was I leading up to that? Well, let's get a... Say for 3 instances we have double jump, the snake whip as the default, and a sword that ups your health and you do a lot of damage,
Yep.
but it's close range. So would it be better to have that something you have to like switch to, and your main attack becomes the sword, or your jump becomes double jump, or you have hotkeys, you remain the same, you have like W is whip, S is sword, and then spacebar can double jump, but you can't use any of your other skills while you're double jumping.
I think that was kind of right. I think that we should have at least hotkey buttons, maybe have all of the powers binded to buttons, but you click a button, it switches your ability, and then your main attack changes or the jump changes. So everything else is gone. Then,
Alright.
And then you have to switch back.
Have either of you played Cave Story?
No.
I think I've heard of it. but never
You've
played
probably heard of it. It was, a lot of raving critics about being good. It is available for free from the creator, so you can download and try it out. You may want to give that a shot and see, because how they use the weapons, like the characters are transformed, but each weapon acts significantly different.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys should try that and get back to me and see how you think that feels, and if you want to do that with the character transformations.
Okay.
Let's see. Is it just like kstory.org or something?
It's something like that. I mean, I can find it for you guys and
That would help.
give you the download link, no problem.
Also, I think you guys should read the story to see at least where I was coming from this, because I think that could help with this issue a little bit.
Alright, I'm gonna look for this the download link first, and I'll take a look at it. Alright, I put the link to the Cave Story download page in the chat. Now, reading the story, say right now what you're writing is the too in depth for what we'll be able to pull off, but that's fine as long as you just realize that a lot of it's going to be missing.
I knew that. I thought more was better than less.
Yeah, it is. Just making sure you realize that, like we won't be able to show. Well, we could show, but like Xylo chasing after the eyeball, that'll be something we probably won't show. It'd probably be like the bare minimum.
That's totally cool. It's just lore.
Yeah, pretty much just writing lore for the whole world of why this is happening, how the world's changing, how everyone's reacting. Another thing is we have to use the player's imagination for a lot of it. Like, we give just the keynotes, and we'll let their mind fill in the blanks. Like, Kevin and Xylo find the temple, and they go in because they're curious or they're hungry, and
Yeah, I was literally just writing that so, like, you guys knew what happened, but in the
Alright.
game it's a lot easier to actually picture it, because then you can actually, like, see and hear what's going on.
yeah. Now, did you both get the download link okay for Cave Story?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's one of those times you can say you were required to play a game.
Oh, snap. I wish we were getting paid to play a game.
Then you couldn't play them for fun.
That's true. Then it becomes work.
Now, was Lexi the girl from before that was like part of the militia,
She was like
was an NPC kind of?
a sheep herder that, like, how she became like the lieutenant because she was good at defending stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So she's the one that sort of starts it. But now I just made her an animal breeder that lives in the city. And then after seeing what Kevin and Xylo can do, she starts the militia.
Okay. Yeah, I'd go either way with that. Either a militia being there in response to. Well, what are we doing about the big bad? Is that still gonna be
The what?
Kevin's mom? The big bad, like the end boss?
Oh, I have no clue. That's up in the air.
Yeah. Okay. And how long was the this crisis going on? Like, does it not start until after Kevin and Xylo realize that there's this power, or is like the world already changing?
I think the world's already changing. They just realize it after all this stuff happens in their village.
And how drastic is this change?
For them, it's not as much because they're not known as well.
Okay.
Other places they'll be known.
All right. Yeah, like the other places will have to like have an already set up militia in response to the changing world.
Mm-hmm.
But if these guys are like isolated, then yeah, it makes sense that Lexi would build up the militia and it wouldn't already be existing. Some continuity. Just learn about.
Yeah. Just needs to make sense. In some
Yeah.
sort of way.
Do you have any thoughts on the story, Phil?
Nah. No.
And I know you were busy, but got any ETA on level builder or anything?
I'm not too sure how. Well, let me just put it this way: you can't use it because do you have PC anywhere?
Do I have what?
Do you have Windows?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not too sure about how saving works through XNA.
Okay.
And by that I mean I don't think I have direct access to the hard drive, so I'd have to make the editor as another application. But right now I have a basic thing where you can draw stuff out for testing.
Okay.
So
So the things I edit and make with the with how it is now, they wouldn't be saved.
not easily. I can make it, write it out to you, and then you have to copy it over.
Okay.
So ETAs, depending on how easy you want me to make it.
Well, easier is better, but we can go through a few rough additions.
Yeah, and things with image loading and stuff, I don't know if I can make it easily in the game. I have to look into that. But right now I have something where you can draw out boxes and move around.
All right.
So that it's usable to make levels. So.
All right. Well, I guess I'll work on the design document some more, and actually can work a bit on the story. You on the build, and we'll meet up next week and
Yeah, I should have something good next week.
yeah, try to get something we can upload to the drive and test out.
For the story, should I just do like the next act, or just like an overview of how the story should go?
For the story, do what is happening with the world from beginning to end.
All right.
Just solely what's happening in the world. What was like before they started, while they're starting, what is like when they beat the boss, what's the ending like?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then we'll build on that.
All right. Sweet.
All right, sound good to everybody?
Yep.
All right. Thank you for watching or listening. And this is Project KZAV signing off.